with our platform, you can actually connect all of these different places where people are playing games, so that way, no matter where they're playing the game, they have the same great experience. I think companies like Nintendo are figuring out is that.
Hello and welcome to Startup Passport by Econsulate in collaboration with Takeoff Tokyo. Today, we're joined by a special guest who is 2024 winner of Takeoff Tokyo and also CEO of Wortal, Will Bohn. Thank you for coming here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, could you give us a little introduction about yourself and tell us more about Wortal?
Yeah, so I've been here in Japan since 2009. One of the reasons I came here to Japan was because of video games, and I self-taught myself how to program because of the video games that I was programming about. And so I've really been passionate about the area. And so when I came in 2009, kind of started off the career with marketing, which allowed me to work with apps, games, and the shift over to smartphone gaming. And then created this company. Started off as a digital marketing agency, and we found that a lot of game companies have a problem with game distribution. And so what we did is we created this great platform called Wortal that addresses the problem that game studios have.
I would love to touch upon some of those challenges. Game distribution in Japan. Are you talking about within the market or Japanese games overseas?
So it's game distribution across channels and borders. So think of just even within iOS and Android and the web, like you're seeing Telegram and some of these other places starting to emerge, and other alternatives to the Google Play and the Apple App Store for monetization. How do developers do that? And we provide all those solutions for them, so that way game developers can actually make more money.
So I've got a game, let's just say I've developed it for the Play Store.
Yeah.
Could you walk me through how you would help me with distribution?
Yeah.
And how you could help me grow it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's super easy. You would just throw in our SDK. We've got excellent documentation on the rest of the process, and then just sign up on our web page, put in the game and the assets, and then we basically take it all from there with the rest of our system, AI, and everything else.
So that goes to local channels, overseas channels as well?
Yeah. So actually, one of the things that's really difficult to do is address the Japanese specific channels that they have here, like Tsutaya or GMO and Mixi, just as some examples. And they're very unique, but they also have a lot of engaged and great users, and that people from overseas can't necessarily access or be able to scale across all these different places. And so with our platform, you can actually connect all of these different places where people are playing games, so that way, no matter where they're playing the game, they have the same great experience, and they can continue on wherever they've progressed in the game on any platform.
Could you share a story about maybe one of your favorite games that went through Wortal and maybe saw some success in an area they didn't expect? Or
yeah. So one of the titles that we have that does really well is this game called Merge Bistro, which was made out by a U.S. company. And they started off originally on the Play Store and iOS. What they didn't see at first was some initial success there. It was tough. The user acquisition costs were high, but then when they released out onto the web, user acquisition costs went way down, the revenue went way up, and then as we went to other places like Japan and Japan-specific channels, we saw even more revenue growth come out for that game. And it just goes to show how our product and how we're able to distribute actually, in the end, lets people make more money.
So you were their partner in coming into Japan as well?
Exactly.
I see. And is this something you plan on expanding overseas, or is Japan kind of the main focus at this point in time?
So it's always been, our company's always been a global company. We just so happen to be based out of Japan, so our entire staff is bilingual, bicultural, and so we're able to address any sort of market. We've got actually a lot of developers that work with us out of India, for example, and other countries in as part of the EU as well. So it's really a global operation that we're running out of Japan here.
Now, I want to touch upon a little bit more of a difficult subject because the games industry is changing.
Yes.
Well, in some ways better, in some ways worse.
Yep.
Could you share any things that you see the market changing, maybe specifically in Japan, that you are maybe concerned about, or maybe something that you're hopeful about as well?
Sure. I think in terms of the Japanese market, there's a little bit of focus. I read there was an article in the Yomiuri Shimbun that was talking about having a focus on like we need better, more graphics, and so they were trying to put programs together for better graphic designers so that we can have like fancier looking games. But what I think companies like Nintendo are figuring out, and the proof is in their actual numbers, is that it's not really about the graphic fidelity. You can actually see even out of the indie community is it's games that are actually like fun and engaging, that people like to play. It's not necessarily about the graphics. I mean, heck, like I think a good part of people like to play like pixel art games, and it's because the game itself is fun, not necessarily because of the graphics.
Yeah, and I think it really is the connection between the art, the artist, and then the person experiencing it that results in success.
Exactly.
I think Nintendo is a really interesting case study because they share the same homeland of Japan with Sony, but they've got very different fandoms and very different communities supporting them.
Yeah.
Is there something so that's something you're concerned about, or at least aware of? Yeah. Are there any things or market trends in the future that you see will change how distribution takes place? Yeah. New channels and things that, I remember VR was touted to be something that everyone would have.
Yeah.
Hasn't taken as much of a mainstream kind of effect as people hoped it would be.
Right.
Is there anything you're looking forward to or looking at in the future?
Yeah, I think exactly what we're doing with having cross-channel experiences is going to be really, really important, because that's going to be the big driver that lets the game companies scale and lets the actual gamers have a better experience, because they'll be able to play the games where and how they want. So I'm hopeful that what we're enabling people to do is actually focus on making great games, and then all of the other bits and pieces about distribution and monetization and things like this, they don't need to worry about. Just make great games.
Make fun games, make great games, and the art will pay for itself.
Exactly, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing an insight into the gaming world, which is, I think, very interesting, but there is still a lot under the table that people don't see of how people monetize, how companies grow and fall, unfortunately. And
it's a dark art with a lot of the stuff, but I think part of the key thing with gaming and entrepreneurship and everything is it's just constantly creating, constantly testing things, and constantly as you're making things, learn from the things that you're making, the successes, the failures, and just keep growing from that.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and for joining us here today. It was a pleasure to hear about the games industry.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.